hate this, although it's show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take
G'day
shit.
trackers, welcome back to another product review. What do we look like that for? What are you putting me off for? What are we doing this week, Ash?
I don't think that's a good shirt to be wearing.
Why?
It doesn't match,
What doesn't match?
like the background.
Oh well. Everyone said last week you missed it. You don't read the comments. Everyone loves the flannel, Ash. They're telling me to wear the flannel every week.
But the yellow with the red car in the background doesn't suit
That's alright, we're not reviewing the car. What are we reviewing?
your shirt.
We are doing, this is actually going to be a really good one, the King's 60 litre drawer fridge. So what are we looking at, Ash?
How cold it gets.
We're doing the specs. She thinks she's a comedian today. Specs, good, bad, and our thoughts. So this is another video basically wrapping up the products that we took to Cape York. So this baby went all the way to the tip and back in extreme heat, humid conditions. It was what, Ash, 35 while we're up there?
No, it's like 28.
It was way hotter than that.
The humidity was the worst part,
Humidity like a bazillion %.
but it did not get to 35.
It was over 30 and it was really humid. So anyway, really testing conditions for the fridge. So we will be doing, I've got another King's freezer which we had on the other side. We'll be reviewing that later on in the week or next week or somewhere it'll be coming up. But this week, yeah, we're looking at the 60 litre drawer fridge. So should we get into the specs?
Yep, let's go.
Let's get into the specs. Okay, so Mrs. Comedian, this one's all you. Product specs. I made you a list. Do you have it with you?
I do.
It's a shame that whenever you look at it, you tip the camera on an angle.
Well, it's hard doing two things at once. Jeez.
Okay, so what's the first one I got? I think I got
You
price
wouldn't know.
first,
Price first, $399.
which has to be the massive thing. With Kings, they are so cheap. Yes, they make some bad stuff. They do make some good stuff. So we'll be talking about this in our thoughts and the good and the bad, whether or not it's actually worthwhile buying.
All right, warranty, 5 years.
Which is, yeah, another thing, King's warranty, phenomenal. They normally set their warranty on consumer law. So consumer law probably says this fridge should last 5 years, which is why they match it with a 5-year warranty.
Temperature range between -10 to 10 degrees Celsius, not a proper freezer.
Yeah, so I did put in there, so it is a fridge, although it'll do -10. -10 is its maximum, which means you'll probably get around -8, somewhere around there, -7, -8, which means your food won't actually freeze in the center and your meat will go off in the center and give you food poisoning. So it is a fridge, not a freezer.
Amp draw, about 3 amps per hour.
Yeah, so that was, I used King's website, and that's 30 degrees ambient outside. And I would say I would probably get around the same, if not a little bit lower than that.
Weight is 23 kilos.
Yeah, she's a bit heavy, isn't that? Big girl. 23 is a fair bit of weight.
Careful. Dimensions is 720 mil long,
Is that way?
490 mil wide, and 410 mil high.
Yep. Is that where I've got something else in there, or I don't have something else in there? I know that's in the good and the
that's
bad.
That's it for the specs.
So you can obviously store some stuff on it as we've got here, but not recommended a lot of weight. So our plan was today we were meant to have your dad do it. We were going to build a surround around it, which is what we will end up doing. So just timber surround, we'll probably use this stuff again, and then you can store as much stuff as you want on it and still access your fridge.
Does that 5 mean 5 degrees?
That does mean 5 degrees. We'll be getting into that in the good and the bad. Don't jump the gun, Ash.
Okay.
Okay, get into the good next.
Yep.
Into the good. Okay, into the good thing. So we'll see how many I can remember, and any that I forget, you read off the list. So first thing I want to touch on is what Ash said. So it's got a digital temperature gauge, which most of your big players, your Dometics, your Ingalls, and your Bushmans still use your analog, which is frustrating as all hell, and they have temperature ranges, not a dialed in temperature, where King's is really good. Pretty much all of their fridges have a digital, if not, I actually think all of them do, have a digital thermostat where you can set a temperature and you can look at that and go, sweet, the fridge is on 5 degrees at the moment. So nice and simple that it's got that. Up and down is nice and simple. The runners are super smooth. The big thing I've got in there is it fits a juice or a milk upright. They also give you dividers, which are brilliant, and then the dividers have little tabs as well that you can then lock in your juice. So really good. The other thing that I've got is the tub actually pulls out, so you can see that lifts out. So you unclip the runners, lift the tub out, and you can wash the whole thing down, which is brilliant. The handle's really good. The seals are really good. They're really good quality. That's a big one. And anybody who's wondering how you test if you get any leaks on your seals, if you look around this edge, if you have any moisture there, then you basically know that your seals leak. But this definitely, the seals work 100%. Another really big positive, I'm not sure if can you see in there?
Not with your finger there.
So there's a little, there you go, just there you can see the nut and bolt. So they just give you literally 4 little right angle brackets to screw it down. It is super simple to mount this thing, where some of the other fridges that I've got coming up in reviews, the mounting systems are a nightmare. So that's really handy. They're super DIY friendly. The black's really cool. I like the black. Did I miss anything on my list?
Did you talk about being insulated?
No, so it is, yeah, really well insulated. So with these drawer fridges, normally they don't have good insulation. You can stick your hand on the side and feel the cold coming out. This one you can't. So they have really well insulated it. Yep, top as well is insulated, so really good quality. The door's super thick. If you show them that, Ash, that's a super thick door to stop the cold coming out. Anything else I miss?
That's it.
That's it, into the bad. There is a couple of bad things we will touch on.
No! God, please, no! No!
Okay, into the bad things. So there isn't many, but there is a few. So first one I'm going to touch on, Ash, if you point at that. So there's where the cold air comes out to cool all your stuff down. So there's only one. There's not one on the other side. There's none at the back, which means anything that's close to that vent, I guess you'd call it a vent, is going to get colder. So what we did find was up at the Upper Cape York, I had to have the fridge set on about 1 degree, so that the bottom of the fridge where I had my temperature, my thermometer, that would get to about 3. So the bottom would be 3, the top would be 1, and you'd be getting a bit of ice on any of your stuff on top. So if you had like lettuce and stuff, it was getting a little bit of frostburn on it. So that's a bit of a shame. I would love to see that actually moved down lower and be blowing onto the actual frame and cooling the frame down, because this whole plastic thing gets really cold and then keeps all your stuff cold. So the temperature does balance out by about, well, by the time you wake up in the morning, the bottom of the fridge and the top of the fridge is the same temperature. It's just as you open and close it, the temperature changes. The other bad thing I think I've got listed there is these guys don't put a light in it, where some of the other competitors have lights in their drawers on top. So when you open it at night time, you can see everything that's in there. That's a really big miss. That is a huge miss at night time. You have to get somebody to shine a torch, because it's obviously a drawer fridge, so that you can see what's actually in there. That's, yeah, a massive fail from them, and it's something I really thought Kings would have thought of. So Kings, if you're watching, your next models, put a light in. It would cost you next to nothing. Did I miss anything else bad?
You kind of already mentioned it, but ice on the roof.
Yeah, so it does get, a lot of people normally comment if I don't put in it, which you actually will be able to show them. So it's only set on 5 degrees, yet if you look in there, you can see the little ice on the roof. Can you see it?
Uh-huh.
So it does get a bit of ice build up, not much at all. It's stuff all compared to like your upright fridges are really bad for it. So it won't build down on your food, but what it does mean is when you turn the fridge off, it fills up like a lake in the bottom, doesn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, if you turn it off, you do need to make sure after a day you take it out and take that plastic tub out and empty the water out. Into wrap up and thoughts? Because I reckon the punters aren't going to know if we're a yes or no on this, because there is some good things and some bad things. Let's get into wrap up and thoughts and we'll let you know.
So mysterious.
I am thinking here.
Okay, so wrap up and thoughts. I'm going to go first this time. Normally Ash goes first. So over the last couple of years, I've tested majority of fridges. I've tested the Bushman's compressor. I've tested the Dometic compressor in multiple different fridges. And I've tested a couple of, well, I tested the King's compressor, but it wasn't the one that's in this. And so the only one I haven't done is Ingle and Brass Monkey, which uses LG. So anyway, so as you would have seen from my review videos, I basically couldn't find a fridge that could handle in Queensland summer. every summer, whatever fridge I was testing would have major issues. It just couldn't do the humidity, couldn't do the heat, and they would either break or they couldn't get cold enough to keep your food safe. So for anybody punters out there listening, your food actually needs to be stored. So this is on 5 because as you can see, there's nothing in there. I just basically have it running to stop the mold. But your food, any dairy needs to be stored at between 2 degrees and 4 degrees. So if your fridge goes above 4, you're running the risk of getting food poisoning. So I haven't been able to find a fridge in summer that could go below 4 degrees. How did this go, Ash? Cape York.
No dramas.
Did not skip a beat. It would go easily. It would go 0, it would go 1, it would go below 0. It just did not struggle whatsoever in the harshest environment for electrical compliances. It tackled it like an absolute beast. Inside a black canopy that was getting hotter as well and trapping in the heat that comes out the back of this, just didn't skip a beat. We've now been running it non-stop, we're going to say about 3 months, because we tested it for about a month before we went away. And then we had the trip and now we're back to there, probably a little bit over 3 months. Nothing. No failures, no shutting off, no warnings, nothing, not going too hot, not going too cold. It is a brilliant fridge. It doesn't use much power, and I heavily recommend getting one of these fridges, which I can't believe I'm saying for a King's product. But I think King's now is starting to bring in more higher quality stuff. Where they started off quite cheap and nasty, they're now trying to reinvent themselves and actually bring out some good products for a reasonable price. So this is definitely one of the ones I can recommend. Ash, what do you think?
It did the job. It stores a lot of food in there as well.
Yeah, it stores, we reckon we get more food in this than our 80 litre upright, correct?
It's pretty close.
Yeah, because of the way that you stack it. Basically with an upright fridge, you got your shelves, and if something's too tall, well then you can't put it in. You're limited by where your shelves are positioned and the height of products. Versus this one, it's back to like a chest fridge, but having the convenience that you can slide it open and get stuff out. You don't have to unpack everything. Versus your chest fridge, you have to unpack everything. So I reckon this is honestly the sweet spot between a chest fridge is definitely the best at keeping food cold. An upright is rubbish. It is horrible. The air circulation doesn't work. They struggle to keep temperatures at a low 3 degrees. Versus this sits in the middle. It's easy to get your food, but it still functions well as a fridge. So I reckon anybody wondering what fridge to put, a lot of people, you see them put it in their wagons, and as you can see, I'm using it in the canopy because now we have all this space up here still usable. Yeah, it is a little bit deeper than an upright, but the advantage is you gain that bit of this top. Where an upright, you lose your whole top section and just gain depth on the other side. So yeah, if they add a light, it'd be a 10 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. What do you give it?
9 out of 10.
Look at that. That's pretty high rating for a fridge. There you go. Go out and grab one. Unfortunately, no discount code for you guys. I should have a chat to King, see if they'll do a discount code that I can pass on to you guys. I'll get onto that. But yeah, for now, no discount code. What do they got to do, Ash?
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Instagram and Facebook.
Yep. The website's not working at the moment. I've pretty much given up on the website. Anyway, guys, see you next week or later this week with another product review. Ash is off to go ride a horsey, so she's pushing to get out of here. See ya.